everyone. Thanks for joining this call, this webinar with me. So, yeah, I am Nivas. I am working as a senior analyst at Vembu Technologies. So, I am the one who is going to take care of this particular webinar. I am also having Mr. Pranav with me. So, he's another senior analyst. So, he's a co-organizer and he's also joining this session with me. So, we both are going to take this session for today. So I hope everyone is safe now. Okay, so let's start with this webinar. So I'm also seeing some attendees are joining. So let them join and we'll start the session now. Okay, so before getting further, so I would like to explain the ground rules for this session. So this session is being recorded. So you can get the recorded copy of this session once the webinar gets over. And all the attendees are in listen-only mode. However, if you have any questions, so you can just type all your questions in the question box. Pranav will right away answer your questions. So if you are not able to answer the question in this session, don't worry. So we will send an email to you. Okay. So with this, so we will get started with the webinar. So today, the title for today's webinar is so what's new in BDRSuite version 5.3. So Vembu has released the latest version of BDRSuite, that is 5.3, so which is one of the major update, and that brings in a lot of new features and functionalities to the BDRSuite. So in this webinar, so I'm just going to explain so what are the new features and enhancement that came in this version 5.3, and I'm also having a demo. So I will show all the new features and functionalities in live. Okay. So with this, so we will just get started. I'm also seeing some new people are joining this session. So for them, I just like to give an overview of the BDRSuite. So the BDRSuite is a brand of Vembu Technologies. So that has been delivering the enterprise backup and recovery solution for the businesses across the globe. So it was founded in the year 2002, and we are headquartered in USA, and we also have an office in India, and all the operations are happening from these offices. And we currently set our footprint over 100 plus countries. People from 100 plus countries are using BDRSuite to protect their business critical data, and we have around some 6,000 plus businesses using BDRSuite to back up their data, business critical data. So yeah, and so I just like to give a small overview of the product. So the BDRSuite is it's a comprehensive suite of product that is designed to cater the business requirement of any size of business, whether it is a small business having 5 to 10 virtual machines to an enterprise having hundreds and thousands of computers. So this solution is designed to cater the business requirements of any business. Okay, so here you can see, right? So BDRSuite addresses the backup requirement of diverse IT infrastructure. Like if you take virtual, so you can back up your Vmware and Hyper-V virtual machines. If you take a server environment, you can back up your Windows and Linux servers. If you take applications and databases, you can back up your Exchange, SQL, Sharepoint, and MySQL. And yeah, we support backup of Windows and Mac endpoints. If you take SaaS applications, so BDRSuite support backing up of Microsoft 365. So you can back up your Mailbox, contacts, calendars, files and folders, OneDrive, everything from Microsoft 365 you will be able to back up. Then we support backup of Google Workspace. So you can back up your Mailbox, contacts, calendars, and the files and folders from Google Drive. Okay. And yeah, so you can also back up your AWS EC2 instances. So yeah, so we support we support storing of this backup in a different locations. Like you can take a backup and store the backup data on your local environment or your on-premise storage mediums, or you can store it in your cloud of your choice. So yeah, so this is the BDRSuite, and we also have this cloud BDRSuite, so which is a cloud version of the BDRSuite. Suppose if you want to store the backup data in a cloud environment, then you can sign up for the cloud BDRSuite and start using it. So with this, we'll see what are the new features in BDSuite version 5.3. As this webinar is more exclusively to the partners, so the partners are already aware of the BDSuite. So with this, we'll just directly jump into the new features that came in version 5.3. Okay, so we'll see the list of new features first. So in this version 5.3, so we brought in some 5 major features. First is the file server backup from the backup server user interface. Okay, so previously in the previous versions of BDSuite, so you have the backup server and you have a separate client. So you have to call if you want to take a file level backup of a Windows servers or workstations. So you have to install the client on each and every machine, and you have to configure the backup from the client user interface. Okay, so we got a lot of feature requests from our partners and customers to simplify this process. So yeah, we address this in the version 5.3 release. So in this 5.3 release, you can configure the backup for your file servers, like the files and folders from Windows and Linux servers directly from the BDSuite user interface. So here we have introduced a new tab called Files and Folder Backup. So just click on that Files and Folder Backup. So you can add your servers from where you want to back up your files and folders. Similarly, like in the previous versions of Vembu, so you can add your Windows servers and you can take the image level backup, right? Similarly, you can add your file servers also, and you can select the files and you can configure the backup for those files. So that is the file server for backup from the BDSuite user interface. And next, yeah, this is also applicable for the endpoints. So you can also configure the backup for the endpoints also. Endpoints also you can configure. You can just add the endpoints to the data source in the backup server user interface, and you can just select the files and folders from the endpoints, and you can configure the backup for the endpoints directly from the BDSuite user interface. You don't need any client, a separate client to configure the backup. So BDSuite automatically push the agent to the target machine, and you can configure the backup from the BDSuite user interface. Next is Azure Blob as a backup repository. So BDSuite now supports Azure Blob as a repository. So you can use Azure Blob as a primary destination to store your backup data. Even you can use it as to store the secondary copy. So this is applicable for both backups and also for the offsite copies. So you can now use in the last version. So we have introduced AWS S3 as a repository in this release. So we introduced Azure Blob as a backup destination for the backup storage. And the next major feature in this 5.3 is Active Directory integration. So BDSuite now integrate with your Active Directory. So this is for the user management. So you can just connect to your Active Directory, and you can import all the AD and LDAP users to the BDSuite. Once the users are imported, you can, so all these imported users can log in with their AD credentials, and you can provide different level of privileges or different level of access to each and every users. So based on the privileges, they can just log in and do the assigned functionalities, or just they can just get access to what are the privileges they are assigned. So that is the Active Directory integration. Next is the integrity check. Again, so this is also one of the most frequently requested feature from our partners and customers. So integrity check. So as everyone knows, so Vembu automatically performs the boot check to verify the recoverability of the backup data. So far, this boot check has been performed on Windows machines. So we just, if you are using Windows BDR server, so BDS will just make use of the Hyper-V role enabled in your Windows machine and just boot the backup data, capture the screenshot and send it to you. Now we also support performing this integrity check on Esxi server. So if you have an Esxi server, like if you don't have Hyper-V, or if you're using a Linux machine, then if you want to perform the integrity check, then it's simple. So you can just select the Vmware Esxi server as a destination. So you can just choose the Esxi as a destination to perform the recoverability check. So BDRSuite just boot the backup data on an Esxi, then it check for the recoverability of the backup data. So that is the integrity check on Vmware Esxi server. So these are the major features in this version 5.3. Apart from this, so we also brought in lot of new enhancements. So that we can see now, the new enhancements in BDRSuite version 5.3. So yeah, here is a list of enhancements that came in version 5.3. The first one is the backup data retention for the deleted and excluded VMs. So previously the deleted retention is applicable only for the files and folders, but now we have brought in the deleted retention for the retention policy for the excluded or also for the deleted VMs. So next is we have improved the server rebuild process. The performance of the server rebuild has been greatly improved, and we are also simplifying. It will get more simplification in the upcoming versions of Vembu. Next, Vembu BDRSuite now support the Microsoft 365 accounts that are enabled with multi-factor authentication. So if you have an account enabled with the MFA, so you can now add that account to the backup, and you can back up all the file, the user's data from that MFA enabled account. Then we now started supporting parallel backup processing for the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace users. So in the previous version of Vembu, so if you are configuring backup for multiple Microsoft 365 Google users, the backup will be processed one by one. For example, if you configure backup for 5 users, the backup for these users will be processed sequentially. But from version 5.3, so this will be running in parallel. And yeah, the next is an option to exclude Microsoft 365 Mailbox. Okay, if you folders from the backups. So if you do not want to backup any particular folder, then you can exclude that folder from the Microsoft 365. So that is Microsoft 365 Mailbox exclusion. Then we also have introduced a new breadcrumbs view for the Sharepoint sites. If you are planning to restore, so you can just see the breadcrumbs for the Sharepoint site and also for the Teams data. Okay. Now you can download the Microsoft 365 data in EML format. So we started supporting downloading of Microsoft 365 in EML and Mbox formats. So previously it is like just PSD. It is now EML and Mbox. And you can also filter so Microsoft 365 mails based on the time range. So if you're backing up the Microsoft 365 Google Workspace for a longer period of time, but when performing a recovery, if you just want to recover the mails from a particular range, so you can just select the time range and you'll be able to filter out the mails from that particular time range, and you can select them for further restore. So that is Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace mail recovery based on time range. Next, we also brought in an option to search the emails during the restore. So we have a search box, so you can just put in your text and you'll be able to find the in-mail item and in the search, and you'll be able to select the particular mails and you can go further with the restore. And yeah, apart from parallel backup, we also introduced a feature to parallelly initiate the PSD export for multiple Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace user account during restore. Okay, and we now provide an option to download the logs, the backup logs from the reports itself. For example, if you want to specifically download the logs of a particular backup job or a particular backup schedule or the entire log, so you can now do it from the user interface itself. Just go to the Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace report, and you can now see a download icon that now allows you to download the entire log of the backups. And yeah, so we have also improved the backup progress window. So the backup progress window of Google Workspace backup now shows more information related to the backup. And we have introduced the tree view. So in this tree view, you can see the original tree-like structure of your Google Drive. So that will be helpful in restoring the files and folders from the backup. And again, we have vastly improved the Google Workspace backup report. So these are the enhancements that came in version 5.3. So apart from this, so we improved the overall performance of the BDRSuite, and we also fixed a lot of bugs. The bugs that has been reported by our customers and partners in the previous versions of Vembu. So that has been fixed. So with this, we can directly jump into the live demo. So I have a setup, so I will explain the features in detail. So I'm also seeing some questions are coming in. So Pranav is answering to all the questions. So yeah, if you have any questions, just please feel free to type all your questions in the question box. So we'll be answering it to you. So getting started with Vembu BDRSuite version 5.3 is pretty simple and straightforward. So this release version 5.3 is generally made available in the website itself. If you go to the vmbu.com and if you click on this download button, so what you will be downloading is version 5.3. So right now, version 5.3 is available only for the fresh installation. So if you are a new user or if you want to set up BDRSuite newly on a new computer, then you can just download the build directly from the website and use it for the installation. However, if you want to upgrade the existing version of BDRSuite, then you have to wait for some time. So the upgrade build will be available soon in the portal. So if you want to upgrade, so you have to just go to portal.vmbu.com. In the download section, so you can see the version 5.3 build soon. So right now it is available only for the fresh installation. Okay, yeah, the system requirements for the 5.3 is similar as that of the previous versions of Vembu. It is recommended to have at least a server with the 8 GB of RAM and quad-core processor. So these are the minimum system requirements. So you can see all the documentation related to the installation system requirements and supported platforms below in this page. Okay. So I have already installed BDRSuite in one of my computer. I will show what the new features in action now. So yeah, this is the BDRSuite version 5.3. So yeah, the accessing the version 5.3 is similar to the previous versions of Vembu. So you just have to enter the IP address of the machine where you have installed the BDRSuite, followed by the port number in your browser. Just clicking on enter, it will take you to the web-based console of the BDRSuite. So this is the web-based console. So you can just log in to the console by entering your username and password. So by default, admin are the default username and password. So just click on sign in after entering the username and password. Here you can see, right? So we have entered, you can see some new tabs here. So previously it was like Vmware, Hyper-V Windows, and AWS, Microsoft 365 only. Now you can see the new tab, Endpoints and Applications and DB tab. Okay. So this is the new user interface of BDRSuite. So let's start with the storage repository. So just okay, we'll see in this version 5.3. So we have introduced Azure Blob as a destination to store your backup data. So you can add your Azure from just clicking on this backup server menu. Just click on object storage. So here you can see this button, right? Create new object storage repository. Just click on create new object storage repository. Here you can see this option called Azure Blob. So you just have to give a name for the repository. Just select Azure Blob storage, and you have to provide all the details. Like you need to provide the service endpoint, then you need to create the credential, and you have to specify the credentials here. Just click on add new credential. So you need to provide the name, the storage account name, and also the access key, so that you will get from the Azure portal. And you need to select the once the credentials are added, so it will just list out the storage container. You just have to specify the container where you want to store the backup data, and you also need to specify a storage location, like for example a cache location. The backup data will first send to the cache location, and then it is sent to the Azure blob. So you need to specify a cache location. Okay, so this is how you can enter the details of your Azure blob, and then you can add it as a repository. So once it is added as a repository, when configuring the backup job, you can specify this Azure blob, and you can store the backup data onto your Azure blob. Okay. So, and the next. So previously, BDRSuite does not allow configuring backup for the Linux from the backup server, but we now support adding the Linux machines. So for this, just click on add. Just click on this Vmware Hyper-V Windows of Linux, and then click on the data source. Here you can see the new menu, add Linux. So just click on add Linux. So here you can add the Linux machine. So this is one of the Linux machines. So if you want to add another Linux machine, just click on add Linux machine. So you need to provide the IP address of the Linux machine, and you need to provide the login credential. Okay. And yeah, so we have two options here. So you can just let the BDRSuite automatically install an agent. So that is called BDRSuite delegation service. So this is the agent that is installed on the Linux machine for the communication. So you can let the BDRSuite automatically install the agent, or else you can just download the BDRSuite agent manually, and you can manually install it on multiple machines. For example, if you want to perform a bulk installation, like you can just download this agent, and you have to install this manually on multiple machines. Then you can just add it like this. So here you can see, right, the agents are available for BDRSuite backup agents is available for Debian Linux and Red Hat Linux. You can just download the agents and install it on the machine where you want to take a backup, where you want to configure the files and folder level backup. And yeah, then click on after installing the agent, just click on save. Just select this option, I will download BBA, and manually install it in the target host. Just click on save. So once you after doing this, so you have to ensure that you have the works. Just save. Okay, so it will just add a new entry here. Once the new entry is created, so once the agent is installed, so you have to come and click on this register BBA. When you click on register BBA, so BDRSuite just communicate with the agent that has been installed on the Linux machine and just integrates. So that is the manual way of installing the agent on the target machine. So once it is added, so you can now configure the backup for your files and folders from here itself. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Just click on backup, click on configure backup, click on Linux. So yeah, if it is a Windows machine, you have an option to configure a disk image backup or files and folders backup. And for the Linux machine, it's just only files and folder level backup. Okay. So yeah, just give a backup job name. I'm selecting Linux file as my name. So you can use a block storage or you can use the object storage. So yeah, I have an Azure blob. I can just select that. If you want to give any description, you can give it here, but this is totally optional. Click on next. So here is the machine. Yes, that is added. Just select the machine. Just select the machine. Then click on next. So here you need to specify the path of the files and folders that you want to backup. So you can, for example, if you're selecting multiple machine and from all the machines, if there is any common folder that you want to backup, then you can just click on this file folder selection exclusion button, and you can select the files and folders. So it is a job level files and folder selection. Just you need to specify the path. You have to specify the path where the files or the folders that you want to backup, and click on add. Similarly, you can add multiple paths. So this is a common, for example, if it is a bulk, like if you're having like configuring backup for 15 to 20 machines at a single time, and there is a common folder in all the machines, and if you want to back up all the folders in the same location, then you can use this method. You can also individually add the new file path for each and every machine that is added to this data stream. So here across, if you have multiple machines, all the machines will be listed down here. You have to just select this edit icon, and you can customize the files and folders for each and every machine separately. Then click on next. Okay, if you want to exclude anything, so you can use this exclusion also. I don't have any exclusion now. So here you can see, right, one folder is added by default. Maybe if you want to specifically add any folder to this machine, you can just click on edit and add a new file. The two files or folders has been selected from this machine. With this, just click on next. So here you need to select the schedule, how frequently you want to take the backup. So you have to select the schedule. Like here you have this multiple options. You can run the backups manually, one time, few hours, daily, weekly, or even you can change the jobs. If you want this backup job to run after a particular job, you can choose this after job, and you have to specify the name of the job. Then you will also see an option here to specify to take the additional full backup. So if you have any requirement to take an additional full backup, you can just enable this toggle and specify the time duration for this additional full backup. And you also get this backup window. So if you want to, if you do not want this backup server to take any backups in a particular time, you can select this. And these are some basic settings that are existing from the previous versions of Vembu. And after selecting the schedule, just click on next. So here's the settings. It's a retention policy. For example, how many versions of data, or for how long period you want to retain the data. So you have to select from here. So that is the retention policy, and the retention policy for the backup files and the retention policy for the data files are separately displayed in the screen. So you have to just select them accordingly, and then click on next. If you want to encrypt the backup data, so you can just enable it. By default, all your backup data is encrypted. However, if you want to add a custom encryption, then you can just enable the toggle. You can just leave it to system generated password, or you can use a custom password to add for an additional protections to your data. Just make sure if you're adding a custom password, so you have to specify this password during the recovery. Then click on next. So that's all. So there's a setting that allow you to take the CBD backups. That's all. Just review the configuration and click on save. So the backup will run as per the schedule. And if you want to perform the recovery, again, recovering the files and folders backup, you can do it from this backup server itself. So just go to the recovery and click on restore backup data. So you can see the files and folder backup here in this UI itself. You can just select restore, and you can restore to any locations of your choice. And next is endpoints backup. So similarly, again, this is also you can add your Windows or Linux endpoints. The process is similar. You can just click on add Linux machine. So you can just manually add one by endpoint manually, or else if you have an option, if you want to bulk import the multiple endpoints, then we provide an option to import the multiple endpoints through an CSV. So you have to just specify the machine details in this particular format in a CSV file, and you have to provide the path of the CSV file. Okay, so once it is added, once the CSV file, and once you click on save, it will automatically add all the endpoints here. You have to first download the agent and install the agent on each and every machine. Once after installing the agent, you can come here and you can register all the endpoints. Once the endpoints are registered, you're good to go with the backup configurations. Like both Windows and Linux support bulk installation using a CSV file. Again, once it is added, it is similar to the files and folder backup configuration that we saw earlier in this file server backup. You just have to click on backup, configure backup, files and folders. Just select the backup job name, specify a backup job name. Then yeah, we need to select the storage repository, and the rest of the steps are similar. You need to just select the server, just select the files from the server. So only the default folders are now available for the selection. However, in the upcoming versions, so we'll also list out all the files here for the selections. So this is job level selections here. These are job level settings. However, you can also have an option to select the individual files and folders from each and every endpoint. Then there's a scheduling option, the settings, the retention policy, the encryption option. And yeah, after that, just review the settings and click on save. Once you save, BDR server will schedule the backup. The backup will be processed as per the schedule. So this is with the endpoint backup, and yeah. So the next major feature in version 5.3 is the BDR user management, like this AD integration. So for this, just click on backup server, click on users. Okay, so here you can see the users, right? You can just import the users from AD or LDAP. So you have to first select the LDAP server, and you can import all the users from the Active Directory. So yeah, this is the Active Directory user integration. So next is the integrity check. The next major feature is the integrity check on Vmware Esxi server. For this, so you have to just go to one of the backup job, and yeah, for AD integration, first you need to add the AD server. For this, you have to just click on the backup server menu, just click on AD or LDAP server. This you have to first add the AD or LDAP server. Once the AD LDAP server is added, you can just import the users by clicking on this user menu. Just click on user, add user, and click on AD or LDAP user. Just select the server, AD or LDAP server. If you have multiple servers, all the servers will be listed here. You have to just select one of the server. You have to select the domain. Then you have to select the users. All the users will be listed here. Then you can, by default, all the users will be provided the user privilege. If you want to change their access, you can just click on edit, and you can change the access of the different users. The next is the integrity check on Vmware Esxi. So that this, let's see here. So here in this option, right? So just click on backup, click on configure backup setting, and click on data integrity. So you have to first enable the data integrity. Okay, once the data integrity is enabled, so you can specify where you want to perform this integrity check. So by default, it will take the Hyper-V. So Hyper-V just takes a local machine where the BDS server is installed. If you want to perform this integrity check on a remote VMware server, just specify the VMware. So specify the detail of the VMware server. So BDRSuite will now use this VMware server to perform the integrity check. Okay, however, you will also get a multiple additional settings here, like how much of RAM and what is the timeout period for the boot check, and how frequently you want to perform this boot check. All the settings are displayed below, so you can select the settings from here, and after this just click on save, just click on update, so it will update the detail. Okay. So these are the major features that came in version 5.3. However, we have a lot of enhancements. So we can see these enhancements in detail. Like, so we have improved the server rebuild process, that you can experience the performance and the improved time. So the server rebuild is much faster than the older versions of Vembu. If you want to migrate this BDR server from one BDRSuite server from one machine to another machine, at that time you will be performing that server migration process. That time you can experience the improvement in the server migrations that we have brought in this version 5.3. So next, just we'll just go to the Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace and see the enhancements that came in this by 5.3 for Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace backups. Again, it is pretty similar. First, you need to click on data source and add your Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. And when configuring the backups, so just click on backup, click on backup for Microsoft 365. So you just need to select the job name. So just give any name, you click on next. So you can configure the backup for the entire organization, or you can select for the particular objects. I'm just selecting the backup for entire organization. Like, you can search the user and you can just select the users. Okay, so this is how you can configure the backup for your Microsoft 365 items. So once the Microsoft 365 the users are being backed up, most of the enhancement you can see in the report and at the restore side. Okay, that we'll see in detail now. Okay, here you can see, right? So this is one of the enhancements. So now you can see an option to exclude the folder. So if you want to exclude any folder, so you can just select the exclusion settings and you will be able to restore the folders globally. So or else if you don't want, you can just if you select no preference, so all the folders will be backed up. Okay, so next is we'll just go and see how the recovery works for the Microsoft 365. Just click on recovery. Just click on restore. So just select this restore user mailbox. So just select the domain. Just select the restore point. Here you can just select the mailbox restore. Just select the mailbox, just click on apply. So when you click on restore mailbox or restore mails, so here you have an option to search for a particular mail. Okay, you can just specify the folders where you want to search, the from email, the subject line, and you can also select the mail within the date range. When you click on search, it will just list out the mails based on your input preference. You can just select the mails and you can just proceed for the further restore. So this is the search option, and you can also see, right, the tree listing for the mailbox. So you can just see the entire tree listing here. So you can just select the files and folders, like the folders, email mail folders, using this tree selection. Okay, then click on next. So yeah, here you can also restore the mail within a when you click on this option here, you can see, right, you can download the previously only 3 options are available, like download as PST, restore to same user mailbox, restore to different user mailbox. But in this version 5.3, so we introduced an option to download the mailbox as EML and Mbox file format. You can just select them and you can specify the folder. When you click on restore, the data will be restored in EML or Mbox file format. And you can also use a time range to restore a mail from the mailbox. For example, if you just want to restore the mail within the last 10 days, you can just select the time range, and when you click on restore, only the mails that came in the last 15 days will get restored. Okay, so then click on next and click on restore. So this is the enhancements, and when you come to reports, so you can see a lot of options in the report. So right, so here you can see a lot more information compared to the previous versions of Vembu, and here you can see, right, download logs. So this download log now down logs button, just download the backup logs to your local machine, that where you can see all the informations of this particular backup schedule. And this option is now available for both Microsoft 365 and also for the Google Workspace backups. And yeah, the overall, along with this, the overall report has been improved. Yeah, you can see, you can take the Google Workspace report. Here I can see a lot more information here. Like user object related things are also here. You can see the report. You can download the logs for the entire backup schedule, or else if you just want to download the logs of a particular object, then again you can download it from here. You have to just expand this, and you have to click on this download button. You will be able to see the logs that to back up the particular user objects. Okay, so these are some of the new features and enhancements came in version 5.3. So yeah, so we have a release notes. So what I will do is you can just go to the Vembu website and you can see all these informations in our release notes. And if you want to test out all these features and functionalities, so you can do it by yourself. So just go to the vembu.com and you'll be able to download the BDRSuite directly from our website, and you can just try out on your own. So yeah, so just download the free trial here. So this product comes with 30 days of free trial. However, if you want to upgrade, so you may need to wait for 1 or 2 days. So the upgrade will be available in the portal soon. Okay. Yeah, so you can see all the details here itself, right? Just click on what's new in BDRSuite version 5.3. You can see all the new features and enhancement in the website itself. So I hope everyone now get an idea of what the new features and functionalities in the BDRSuite version 5.3. Yeah, if you have any questions, so you can just contact your account manager, so they will help you with the installations. Okay, so we are available 24/7. If you want to perform the new installations, you can just contact us, so we will help you in deployment. Or else if you have any questions on using a particular feature, okay, so you just don't hesitate, just feel free to contact your account managers, and we can schedule one more call. Like, okay, we can schedule a separate call with the individuals who is having questions, then we'll help you to clarify the questions on this version 5.3. or else if any of your new customers are willing to upgrade, so yeah, you can just also recommend them, or you can just help them to upgrade. So the BDRSuite version 5.3. So yeah, so that's all for this session. So yeah, I hope everyone understands the new features and functionalities. Yeah. If you have any question, you can just type in all your questions in the Q&A box. So we can see that a lot of new questions are coming in. So Pranav was answering to these questions. So everyone, thanks for joining this webinar session with me. So if you have any questions, just feel free to contact your account managers, or you can directly contact our support at vembu-support@vembu.com. So we'll be helping everyone with the installation, or else after the installation, if you have any questions, so we are happy to help you at any time. So thanks for your time, and thanks for showing interest in this webinar, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.